Vision is a brand new series on Disney Plus. It is the first of what will eventually be multiple MCU related miniseries or TV shows. It's not really clear yet. And it stars a bunch of people, including Elizabeth Olsen returning as Scarlet Witch, Paul Bettany returning as Vision somehow, Catherine Hahn, Randall Park, Kat Dennings, Tiana Paris. And it's about Wanda, who, after the events of Avengers Endgame, she is now in this world where she's happily married to Vision. And basically some weird things start happening, and it's kind of set up like a sitcom at first, as I'll explain. And some weird things are happening. Is it really her? Like, who's causing all this? What's happening? So when I heard that there was a show based around Wanda and Vision, I was like, oh, we'll see. I kind of have a feeling where I know it's going to go. And it was kind of right. And I didn't review this show like week by week, because I just felt like, what am I going to talk about? Am I going to talk about like fan theories or something? I kind of don't want to talk about that. I feel like I would talk better with the actual final product. And so I just waited until, I finally watched the final episode of the season. And I gotta say, I actually really enjoyed WandaVision. So, what was good about it? Well, I liked the performances overall. Elizabeth Olsen, I really liked her here. She's probably the best that she's been in the entire MCU. Because, I never really cared for Scarlet Witch. They never really went into too much detail with her. The only things is that, she had her brother who was killed, and then she just started dating Vision randomly. It made no sense. Paul Bettany's also really good in the show as well. Definitely better than he has been in some of these movies. And their relationship works in this show. I keep saying movie because I'm just used to this being a movie series. I do like the relationship here more. I do like that they build it up more, and you actually kind of understand more like why they're together. Also the other performances, like Catherine Hahn as this nosy neighbor, she's also really good, and she's also really good when you find out the twist later on. Tiana Paris as Monica Rambeau, she's also really good as well. Randall Park and Kat Dennings return. Randall Park is fine. He's good. He's likable as Jimmy Woo. And Kat Dennings, who, not a lot of people really liked her from Thor, and I thought she was really good here. I actually liked her here. She was definitely tolerable, and her jokes actually worked this time. Also, the way that the show is set up, you see that's kind of in black and white, like an old sitcom, like the Dick Van Dyke Show, and it works. I thought with each new episode, they kind of go into a different type of sitcom. Eventually it kind of moves away from the 50s sitcoms and goes into shows like Malcolm in the Middle and Modern Family, where it's okay, that's kind of funny. And I definitely got more emotion out of the Malcolm in the Middle than I did out of, say, the 60s one. And I do like how it kind of gradually becomes more serious throughout, first several episodes are oh, it's a sitcom, and eventually, it's all black and white at first, and then, all this color starts coming in randomly. I really like that, definitely. And, kind of just adds to the overall mystery, okay, what is happening here? And most of the time it did surprise me, I'll say, but there were a couple surprises that I didn't care for. The big reveal about Catherine Hahn's character, it didn't really surprise me too much. It's oh, okay. Yeah, that's kind of where I thought it was going. Kind of, but oh well. And also, I really dug the action scenes, especially towards the end, where it's the big fight between, spoilers, the big fight between Scarlet Witch and Agatha Harkness. They're really good as well. It's visually impressive. It's definitely very colorful, very stylized. Now, there are a few issues that I have with this. First off, there's this big reveal, eventually, with Evan Peters returning from X-Men. He's playing Quicksilver in this new one. And it's at first when I saw this, oh, what's happening? And also I kind of thought, oh, that's pretty clever, because you hear about TV shows that, they have these characters, and then the actor leaves for whatever reason, and then they're replaced. So it's so is WandaVision just doing that? Oh, that kind of makes sense, because, sitcoms did that. And it's how is he going to play into this whole thing? Turns out he really doesn't. I kind of wish they did more with Quicksilver. Because, it's all just set up for a joke at the end, which doesn't really make any sense. Oh well. Also, there's like this human villain who's working for the FBI along with, you know, Jimmy Woo and Monica Rambeau. And he's very generic. He's very boring. He's just a villain for no reason, really. It just didn't really work for me. And also, at times throughout this entire season, it's like, it felt like they were trying to do too much. Like, is this the direction they're going to take? Or is this the direction they're going to take? Yes. It seems like they were kind of just throwing a lot out there. And it just, at times it didn't work, but in the end, it kind of came together well enough to say, it's worth your time, definitely. So, overall, WandaVision, I like it overall. I like the characters, I like the style it has, I like the action scenes, I kind of like its tongue-in-cheek humor at times. I just kind of wish at times, you know, maybe they would have more of a concrete plan at times with, like, how things are going to work out. And maybe develop some of the side characters, like, or really give them more of a reason to be there. Like, again, Quicksilver. Everyone else is pretty good. Elizabeth Olsen, great, especially in the second to last episode. That was just tragic, and she played it off well. Everyone, a lot of things work. I just feel like I'm ripping it apart because, like, I didn't like a couple things, but it's definitely worth your time. I was surprised that it was shorter than I expected. I kind of suspected, oh, they're all going to be like hour-long episodes. No, they're like sitcom episodes, half-hour long, so it's like, oh, you can watch it in a day, and that's good. Overall, I'll give WandaVision 3 out of 4 stars. See it. So, are you looking forward to any more of these MCU TV shows? Which ones? And did you watch WandaVision? What did you think? Comment down below, subscribe to the channel. This is Pat, and stay safe.